Welcome to the 290 Mo podcast. I appreciate you all's time. If you could, introduce yourself to my viewers and listeners.
Hi, I'm Sherri Simmons, the author and co-writer and director of the stage play Underneath the Hat.
Okay.
What's up, y'all? It's Reese Kordova, the Ratchet Gentleman. I am an actor in Underneath the Hat stage play, an artist of many sorts, musical, as well as, thanks to Sherri, the co-director of the summer production of Underneath the Hat stage play.
For sure.
sir.
That's dope. So before we get into the details real quick,
Mhm.
Sheree, where you from?
I am from the south side of Chicago.
Okay, shout out Southside.
Yes, and driving here it brought me back to when I stayed over here
Yeah.
a few years ago based on some of the stuff that happened in the book and in the play. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Reese, you a Southside baby as well? What's the word? Where you from, man?
Yeah, I'm a East Side baby. You know, people
Yeah.
act like we ain't got no East Side. They be
Yeah.
trouble. But
One thing I learned doing this show, like East Side and South Side, like I ain't from the South Side, I ain't from there. That's the same thing to us.
But so this is how I always say it, right? If y'all got a West End and we got an East End, then it got to be a East Side because it's a street that tell you where it ends. You know what I'm saying?
Never thought about that deep, but for sure, makes sense.
It got to make sense. Thank you, brother.
For
I
sure.
appreciate you.
Now we're gonna get right. We're gonna get right to business.
Let's do it.
The inception of Underneath the Hat. What does that come from?
So I was a former first lady of a church.
Former.
Yes.
Definitely got to get that solo interview in. Yeah.
Come on.
So I was the wife of a pastor of a church on the south side, but he grew up on the west side on 14th and Sawyer.
My granny church was on Sawyer. It's called Shalom.
Salon, he went. You better stop.
Oh no.
Crazy.
He went through.
Yeah, I got my daddy tapes. My daddy used to preach
Hey.
up there.
Oh yeah, you probably know who I'm talking.
Yeah, the
Full
Pierce.
circle moment.
Yeah, the pit. Yes, you do know who I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's the name?
Bradford.
Oh, I'm not familiar. I was young, but I'm deeply rooted there.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yep. And so I just wrote about the lessons that I learned of going through the trials and tribulations of being a first lady. And so Underneath the Hat has a fold meaning of everyone wears hats, whether you're a spouse, whether you're a friend, whether you're a child, whether you're a parent. And so it just talks about the things that we deal with underneath our hat, but then also the uniform of a first lady is the big church hats. So exposing what I was going through underneath those hats when people would see me in church of what was really happening underneath.
For sure. Now, Reese, man, before we move forward, what's your background as far as the performing arts? You know what I'm saying? How does this connection happen?
Okay, so I gotta go way back because I just realized how much background I do have, right?
Go ahead, get it.
So I was raised as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. So Jehovah's Witnesses have a lot of media that people don't know about.
Yeah, I
Like, they
didn't.
got
I didn't know about the media.
movies, like demonstrations that they do on the what they call the conventions. So I did several different demonstrations on conventions, which really is the same thing as acting in a play. So I'm in front of 40,000 people at 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? Doing acting, but I never really put it together. Like I was acting then. So we fast forward. Around 19, I started rapping, and then from there, we fast forward again. At 29, I graduated from Illinois Media School, and so that's really where Sherri and I connected.
Okay.
So during my Illinois Media School, I starred in 3 different short films. 2 of those I was the lead, and so then I auditioned for Underneath the Hat. We did the winter production. February, did 3 shows. I really fell in love with the story, as well as grew a great relationship with the cast and the crew, because most of the cast and crew is alumni from IMS as well. So Sherri picked us up out of there and got us rolling together, and then now I've been directing and working with some of my own projects, and so then we started working together more closely, and that came to the opportunity this time to not only act but also co-direct.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't mind me asking, I don't know too much about the witnesses, man. But from what I do kind of know ignorantly is like you can't do too much like outside of the church. You know what I'm saying? So how did you become this breakout artist that you are today? Outside of that, if you don't mind sharing.
Well, okay, so I was definitely geared away from hip hop growing up, but I'm just a rebellious individual. You know what I'm saying? So it, I got to a point where I was just rebelling against everything that I was taught. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I feel like as a youth, we all go through that in some way or another, not necessarily to the same degree, but we get to a point where we kind of rebel and just want to do our own thing and figure it out for ourselves. And so that's when the Ratchet Gentleman was born. So that was my brand. Well, it still is my brand, Ratchet Gentleman LLC. But it's a balance, you know what I'm saying? Because I had the tutelage, what I was taught, versus the environment of what I experienced and what I witnessed. So witnessing the hood and everything that was around me, I turned that into my music. But at the same time, I still had my boundaries and my morals that I was trained to have from having two Jehovah's Witness parents. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah.
For sure. Now, when you decide to share, you know what I'm saying, your story, did you anticipate everything that it ended up blossoming to be? Like, did you blueprint all this out? Like, we're going to do the book, we're going to do the stage play, we're going to do this, do that?
Absolutely.
And if not, talk about the evolution of that and how you handled taking in everything.
I had no plans on writing a book. One of my former coworkers, they had found out what I was going through because I'm a teacher for Chicago Public Schools. So it'll be 20 years in August. And so the year that all of the stuff started happening, I was an assistant principal on the South Side. And one of the people I worked with was like, you should write a book. And so I went to Red Robin and got a napkin and started writing stuff down because I love music. So I just started coming up with all the songs that I was feeling and that reminded me of the moments that I was having going through the process. And that's what started the outline of the book. And then I just started voice recording things and then typing everything out. And then in 2018, the book was published. And so it was a full circle moment because I did my book release at Theater 47. And then we ended up having the opening night of the production 8 years later at Theater 47.
Full circle.
Right.
That's dope.
It's a lot of alignment within her story.
That's how like you knowing stuff meant to be. You know what I'm saying? Everything falls into place. You know what I'm saying? So, with writing the book, did you find yourself censoring anything, or was you an open book when you was writing this book?
I was very open. For some people, a little too open. So I didn't use my real name or any of the real names of the people involved. Okay. And so even going through the process of writing the book, I was still mindful of the privacy of the other person, even though things were done to me that people were like, man, F him.
Right.
Tell yours with me too. Like, man, you saving people.
I'm trying to go to heaven. So I was
trying to meet you there.
Exactly. I was mindful of what I was saying, but still telling my truth, but just using another name in order to make sure that the story got out. Because my biggest thing I always tell the cast is one person's testimony is another person's breakthrough. So I realized by opening up about what I was going through that people in my circle had experienced it too, that I never even knew were going through some of the same things. So being able to finally open up and share my story, I was able to get healing from hearing how they were able to make it through because I was willing to open up about what happened to me.
And with sharing your story, what kind of response did you get like from the people like around you? Because I've talked to several like writers who shared their story through books, and they be like, people would be like, I didn't know, or this and that. So what was your immediate support system like response when you put that out, or they found out what was going on?
They were so heartbroken at the fact that we had originally gotten a divorce, and then when they found out what was happening behind closed doors, the hate they had for this person And you know, as soon as you break up with somebody, people's like, I always knew. It was something about him I just didn't like. You're like, well, why the hell you didn't say nothing? So, but being able to hear from them things that I hadn't paid attention to that further explain why things moved the way that they did in a relationship. But a lot of people were upset because we were like couple goals for them. And so their whole world was crushed when they found out that. Exactly.
Bro.
Even outside of the fact that he was a pastor. But just the relationship that we had with our circle. They were like, well, if you all can't make it, then we can't make it. Because we put on this great big show and facade of everything is great.
I can't wait to read this.
Oh my God.
Man, come on.
Yeah.
And you got to see the play.
Yeah, so that's how so Reese, tell me about your role in this play. Who do you play in this story? And talked about how do you get into character, you know what I'm saying? Did any research go into it? Did you have to like talk to Sherri directly about the character, or did you just go in it raw talent?
So initially I auditioned to be the main character, the pastor, you know what I'm saying? Because I have such a background in being a preacher, you know what I'm saying? So that was my initial thing. But then I was asked to be Rome. And so Rome is his best friend. And oh man, so Rome has a very unique role in this in this story. You feel what I'm saying? So Rome is an individual who's been close to Campbell, the main character, since youth. You know what I'm saying? So they cool before the proposal all the way up until the divorce. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm in the mix, but I'm trying to be everybody's friend. And that really reflects my real life. Because I got so many individuals who I know that I'm married and I'm both of their friends. Like I really have a great relationship with the husband and the wife because we've been tight since forever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I didn't have to do much research, but I felt like once I was selected to do this role, I was like, oh, this is actually me. This is actually who I am for real. You know what I'm saying? So I had the chance to be able to just be more natural. And because it came more natural, then I was able to analyze the nuances of the script and then kind of just add a little more flavor. So that's really all. It's just me with a little bit of extra. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope. That's dope. So do you get to, you know what I'm saying, be yourself? Do you stick strictly to the script? Do you be like, yo, check this, I think we should add this, do that? Or what's it like actually on set?
Well, so in the very first production, I was able to kind of sauce up my my lines and stuff and add a few little ad-libs here and there. And then give a few other different perspectives and ideas and say, hey, well, you know, I think that it'll be cool if the character does this, or I think it'd be cool if the room reacts this way or whatever like that. So I was able to add a little bit and, you know, go a little off script, but I really try to stick to what is on the lines of the page. Everybody not necessarily
right.
We got a lot of ad libs.
Yeah, a lot of improv stars.
The final production is like, man, the script might be 2 hours by itself, but the production is like 2:15 because of all the extras. Because we just enjoying ourselves, and as long as it actually fits within parameters, and Sherri gives us a lot of room to just be an artist. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay. Now, Sherri, what I want to know is like, where did you gain the knowledge to put all this stuff together? Like, and you could go one by one. Like, where did you get the knowledge to get a publisher to write the book, and then the knowledge to write a stage play? Cause I started to like write a short film, and I went on YouTube, and it was like, yeah, like set the scene, do all this. I quit. I ain't have. So if you could just like, where did you gain all this knowledge, and then enough knowledge to actually bring it all to fruition?
So writing the book was easy because I'm a teacher. So being able to outline everything, shout out to Indiana High School. Right. Thank you, Ms. Sharp, for making us cite everything with all those resources. So I was able to outline what it was, how I wanted it to fit, and pretty much just put it in order, chronological order of how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
With the publisher, I reached out to some people that I knew had written books, and then they gave me information about different publishers, and then I went through there, and they were able to edit the book for me, and then I was able to self-publish and put it on Amazon. Sorry.
Yeah.
And so then when it came to writing the script, when I was a little girl, I used to write scripts on my little notebook paper, and it would be about the cat across the street or somebody down in the house doing something. But I used to write these scripts. And so when someone brought it to me to do a play, I'm like, I don't want to do it. And so I just started writing stuff out. I got the co-writers. One of the co-writers is our main lead male character, Gamero. Mero's piece is Grisby. And also Tish Cat Luttery, and Gregory Bonner. They're all co-writers that came from the Illinois Media School. And so we got together in like under a month. I gave them the book after we interviewed for the writers, and then they read it, and a lot of the stuff, like Reese said, that they had experienced in life, they were able to bring their real lives into the play. And so I would say about 85% of the play is based on what actually happened, but a lot of it intermingles and correlates with things that those other three writers went through as well.
Okay.
And so we just took time and did virtual writing sessions, and we used Google Docs. So as one person thought of something, the other person was typing. So that way everybody's information was in one spot. And then we had it proofread. And then within like a month and a half, we started auditions for the play through Illinois Media School. And I would say by September, October, we started rehearsing and doing table reads at the libraries, and then having rehearsals at different churches. Shout out to Greater Christian Fellowship on Ogden. That's Mero's church. We used his church most of the time for rehearsal, and we were able to make it happen. And so February 2025, we did 3 shows at Theater 47. People were so shocked because Theater 47 is like up there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like, they're like, how you get here your first time? I said, some people crawl, some people walk.
Yeah.
And so I knew this is what I was supposed
People
to be
skip
doing.
to the front of the line.
Exactly. And so I was able to learn so much from the owner, Mr. Ruffin, just watching how he was able to do things with his own shows. They go on tours and all these things. And so he allowed for me to have access to things that other people weren't able to use. Like those mics. He was funny about his mics. But he allowed
But a lot of
He
things.
was.
But I'm a
Funny about everything.
I digress. I digress.
Everything. And so we were able to put on a high quality show, give or take a couple of things we need to work on. But for the first time out, to be at that caliber already, it's like, okay, Lord, I'm going to just listen to what you're telling me now. So God opened a whole lot of doors, from Reese and his connections to Tish and her connections, and just the people in Illinois Media School who were part of the production. Everybody was placed where they needed to be. And I'm an introvert, so I could sit in the corner and be cool by myself. But he surrounded me with people who knew things that I didn't. But then because of my background in education and being an assistant principal, I was able to hear what they had to say and allow for them to shine. And we can still balance and work with each other to make sure that the production was successful. And it has been so far.
For sure, for sure. I was talking to Reese earlier. I just had a award show, and I'm mad I ain't had that category. So
I say, man, hey, best stage play. Hey, we trying to get up in there for the next one.
for sure. So for the next one, I'm definitely gonna have best stage play. But what I want to know from you, based off you saying that, what is it about this stage play, this production that you're a part of that made you feel that way?
Wow. What makes it so outstanding to me is the story behind it and the finished product. So it's like being able to see the triumph of Sherri herself, and then also to see the dedication of the graduates. You know what I'm saying? Like, initially, I know we don't really talk too much about Nubia, but Nubia did help us she put me in the game and said, hey, Sherri got this going on. Can you come help and shoot the video for this. That's what I really was trying to do out of IMS, is be a camera operator. You know what I'm saying? So then from there, I'm shooting the writers audition. They was auditioning to write along with Sherri for the play. Then from there, couple things changed, and now the crew just gets tighter and tighter and tighter, and the shows get better and better and better. You know what I'm saying? So it's a triumph. It's a story of people who didn't know each other from a can of paint, you know what I'm saying? Then coming together and bringing this to life. We have had instances where crazy things that we never foreseen happen, but they happen, and we still kept the ball rolling. We still had the crowd involved with every single scene, from the opening scene to the end scene. They cracking up and applaud. You know what I'm saying? It's like the play itself is in a field that is not as heavily saturated as hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So for me, coming from a place where I have to shine because there's too many other rappers that's shining, you know what I'm saying? To now we in the stage play arena, whereas I have so many people who are saying, "Wow, y'all did this yourself? I ain't know." You know what I'm saying? Y'all was all working together. Now look at how it came to be from the book. This is real life. Oh my God, I didn't know most of this really happened. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, it's just a hell of a story to me. You know what I'm saying? That's really the background becomes the reason why I love it so much, because the history, and then now here we go. We 6 shows in the making now. You know what I'm saying? This ain't nothing to sneeze at. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to know that many people who got one play off the ground. You know what I'm saying?
I investigated. I saw the. I'm like, oh yeah, but we'll end on this. From the book, from your actual real life experiences to the book to the play, and we could tag team this question. But you go first. What's your goal? You know what I'm saying? I know the movie coming soon. I was talking shit, but what's your goal? What's your ultimate goal at the end of the day? Once you like mission complete, what does it look like?
My ultimate goal is for Tyler Perry.
There you go.
For us to make it to Tyler Perry Studios.
There you go.
And for ultimately Underneath the Hat, because of the things that I haven't even mentioned in the play,
Man.
It could be a series.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm ready to read the book.
Because I don't know if I told you this, Reese, but I did when we went to Windy City Weekend. Yeah. About 3 years ago, I had a pitch meeting with Carlos King to actually do like a Real Housewives or like a First Ladies Club type reality show. And he was saying that it was a good idea, but I still needed to work on it. And that was like 3-4 years ago. And so I ultimately, because people's ideas of the church have changed, and now people are digging deeper into things that have happened to them, that have made them the people that they are, from church hurt and all the things that have happened. I think this is something that can help resonate with people. Not even if you take out the fact that it was a first lady and a pastor. We've all been in relationships where somebody was loyal to the other person and the other person wasn't to them. Or they come in a room and everybody knows what's going on but the person that walked in. So we've all in some way been in that type of relationship with somebody, whether it was parental or marital or a friendship. So being able to expose this play to Tyler Perry, we've been talking about Tubi.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've always said my life was a Lifetime movie, so I would love to go and get on Lifetime too. So definitely making this into a movie and ultimately a series, so that more people can be exposed to it.
That's dope. That's dope. Reese, take us home, man. What's your goal? What do you feel like once you look back at this situation, your whole career? What when it's complete, what would it look like to you?
Oh man, it's when it's complete, it's gonna look like I wore a lot of different hats well. That's what I just wanna to show as my completion, is that whatever I put my name on, that I actually seen it through to the end, and I did a pretty good job. Whether I did an amazing job on some things or a little bit less amazing on something else, I'm still trying to make sure I show up and show out for every single thing that I sign up for. You know what I'm saying? So whether it be helping with the movie, helping with the series or whatever the case may be. Sherri know I'm invested in this project as well. You know what I'm saying? So not only that, but also releasing some more music soon. Working on my own movie. You know what I'm saying? That I got some really dope comedy, action comedy.
Now. Go ahead.
I got an action comedy in the works.
I think I'm ready to be in the movie now, man.
Yeah. So hey, just like I said, I want to leave a great legacy. I got kids. I'm just trying to show them, man, you could do it.
For sure. And I definitely love, Black excellence. I'm definitely excited to read the book. I'm excited to come check out the play. Before you guys get up out of here, just let the people know where they can see the play, where they can find y'all on social media, all that good stuff.
Sure.
So the play is happening June 21st, Saturday at ETA Theater on 75th in South Chicago. So come on from the west side and come on over to the south.
We're going to slide on y'all.
Right. So we have a 2 p.m. matinee show and then a 7 p.m. show on Saturday, June 21st. And then Sunday, we have a 2 p.m. matinee show for those church goers. They can come after they leave church, but everything will be at ETA Theater. You can go to their website, ETA Creative Arts, and you'll find us under the community events, and you can click the link there. And also you can find us on Instagram underneath_the_hat_stage play, and on Facebook at underneath the hat. And you have the link to Zeffy to be able to purchase tickets.
For sure.
Yeah.
Reese, where we can find you on social media, man?
If you hashtag the Ratchet Gentleman, you're gonna find me. Reese Kordova. Kordova is spelled with a K. It's REESEKORDOVA. On Instagram, there's an underscore at the end. And same as YouTube, all streaming sites, Reese Kordova,
For sure. I definitely appreciate y'all time. It's the most valuable thing we got.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. In a minute, gang.
Thank you.
Thank you.